you hear that, guys? It's the sound of many, many Galli fans awakening from their slumber once more. We had some Galli in the stream today. Yay for you guys! It was only the grazing thing, though, minus a section later, which it looked like he was just, porting the animations or something. I don't know what he was up to. He was opening windows while the animation was there, but it was normally stopped, and whenever I tried to play the animation in full, it would play for like 3 seconds and then it'd be done. So I decided just to cut the whole thing. There was no point. This part, however, it is a lot of tweakage to a grazing animation for our precious little Galli. Unfortunately, a lot of what he was doing was you'll see this window pop up every now and again, and it's like these little wavy things, and there's little dots there, and there's more wavy things sometimes, and maybe some scribbles as well if you're lucky. But anyway, most of it was in there, and so you couldn't really see what was going on, and there was no visible change. It looked like the screen was just staying the same for the most part for several minutes on end. And so those parts were cut. I played the animation when it was there a few times, not every single time. So you guys have a little over a minute, maybe 2, of Galli's Graze stuff, sped up at points, and then other times it plays in full. But as usual, I also arrived to the party late, because he streamed a lot later than he normally did, and I thought it was safe to go back to sleep, and it was not. So, hurrah. But I've got part of it, so good enough. After Galli was a nice little surprise visit from Dibble, and this one was, it's the thing I kept calling heat mapping before, but he called it weight paint on the top. So I imagine that's what it's called. So it is weighting the adorable little potato we know and love. It was very, very interesting to watch. For the most part, this part was played in full. I mean, sped up, of course, but, it's in full sped up, minus a few parts where he'd idle on one section for a very, very long time. And so I cut that part and moved it to the next as best I could. Unlike the Galli one, where most of it was in the little line part, this was basically all visual stuff that you could actually see what was going on, what was being changed, where the model was being adjusted. You could see everything. So, as I said before, I tried to keep this part pretty well intact, because honestly, this is one of the more interesting things to watch. I mean, compared to, rotating and stuff like that. It is a nice view into the magic of what makes the model move around and how much it makes the model move around. Because as I remember, at least this was the explanation I was given way back. This basically dictates how much the model will distort when a certain part is moved. So like the leg, for instance, when it's shifted around, the weight mapping, at least if this is, again, what I remember it, and if this is the same thing, because I could be wrong, however, if it's the same thing I remember, and if it's, works the same way, and if I'm recalling it correctly, if 50 asterisks go here, it basically makes it so the model doesn't super duper distort or doesn't look weird when limbs move. So you don't get, when, like, the leg moves, for instance, and part of the, body will shift a little bit as well. Instead of just the leg moving and you get this sharp cutoff where, like, between the parts that are moving and the parts that aren't. Like, we've seen bad animations that do stuff like that. I'm sure you guys know a game or two that has them. This sort of helps prevent that. Again, if it's the thing I'm thinking of, I'm not an animator. The classes I took were years ago. I am scraping the bottom of the barrel that is my brain to try to, scrounge what I recall from that friggin' class. And maybe a video or two I watched afterwards, but, Anyway, moving on. But yeah, it's fun to watch, at least when it's sped up, because in real time it's a bit of a slog. But when it's sped up, it's nice. When he moves the model around, you can see it kind of jiggle and stuff like that, and it doesn't have any harsh cutoffs, or at least not that I saw. I wasn't looking very hard. But anyhow, yeah, I liked it. It was fun to watch. I guess it's not necessarily, animation, but it's still part of the process, so here it is, and it's entertaining to an extent. I mean, at least if you're like me. If not, then, well, the next part should be more of your thing. We got some Pingu animations of various types. I think it starts with the idle animation and that goes on for a while. I would have cut it a little bit shorter, however, he started shifting views and stuff like that, and I know people like to see the dinos at various different angles, and of course with an idle animation you're going to be seeing different things at different angles, so yeah, I left it in. There it is. After that, I believe, was the sleeping animation, or at least, you know, the animation when they're going to sleep. Curls up, nuzzles his head a little bit, is pretty cute. Most of these went on for a very, very long time. I cut them off because time. No one wants to see the same animation for 50 seconds, unless you really, really like it, in which case, good for you, but unfortunately, we don't got time here. So, next one was actively sleeping, it looks like. I imagine this is what plays, you know, when the dinosaur is actually in its sleeping position and the screen's fading a ton. So generally speaking, you're not going to be seeing that too terribly much in-game. After that was swimming. It looks like the juvie swimming, actually. At least that's what it looks like to me. He does switch to adult later, so pretty sure. But it's really cute. Look at him go. Let's see, after that was, I think it was the adult, the above water, well, you know, the duck swim, I should say, because the juvie looks like it was purely underwater, and this one looks like it's at the top of the water. This one was a little interesting because one arm doesn't quite move too much. It looked kind of like it was injured or something. Like the way the other arm moves, the one not actively paddling, it just looks like it's hurt. Like it's purposely making an effort not to move it. And it's all tucked up. And that could be the intent, I don't know. But anyway, after that was begging animation from the Beipi, and that one went on for a decent amount of time. He was, again, viewing it at slightly different angles, and I want you guys to be able to, you know, get a chance to see the baby, so I played it decently in full. After that, I think it's the feeding animation. That's what it looks like, anyway. Again, I let that one play for quite a while, so you guys can get the chance to admire it, and he changed the angle again, so again, it might as well. After that one was the waking up animation, which I didn't realize there was one. Granted, again, I haven't played in eons, so yeah, I haven't seen any of those ones yet. Yeah, I like it, it was really cute. After that, it looked like the juvie walk. Or trot, I suppose. It could be a run, but it looks more like a trot or a walk sped up a little bit. And then after that one, the final one, was some sort of jump thing. It might be him exiting the water. I couldn't say. That one played for a decent amount of time. I cut it quite a bit. However, I'm not quite sure. Like, it looks like he's in the water for sure. At least I say that now. It could be him unlatching from the ground, because I remember he has some sort of, you know, latch thing to keep him from being swept away or whatever. Which we don't really have currents, so I'm not sure what the point of that's gonna be, but anyhow, it could be that. I don't know. But it's a cute little animation. I don't have too much to say, aside from what I said about the arm during the swimming animation. I think that would be the extent of the funkiness that I saw. But I'm not microscoping him because I don't really care. But nothing jumped out immediately as, you know, strange in any sort of way, so I'm fine. I don't have any complaints aside from the arm thing that I, again, already mentioned. So, there we have it. That stream is complete. Thank goodness. Thoughts on the entire thing? I liked this one quite a bit. Even though it wasn't a whole lot, and to be honest, I don't care for these dinosaurs much at all, it was a variety of things, which I enjoy getting to watch. So there was the Galli, and while the grazing animation's pretty simple, it's basic, there's not much going on, and watching the process of it, there was even less going on. It's still entertaining to look at, and I liked seeing the finished product. Or, well, finished as far as we're aware of. The the weight painting, I guess I should say. That one, I enjoy seeing those a lot. I don't know why, it's entertaining to see. I like seeing how the joints and stuff get moved around and how painting it a certain way makes the model move and, well, as in very literally like the textures getting pushed around rather than, you know, the painting actually animating it or anything. I like seeing how the distortion of a model works, is what I mean. It's fascinating, but aside from that, I guess there's not too much to say on it. It was, infrared painting. It looks cool. I like it. I'm glad we're getting to see the early workings of the animation process on Dibble. Oh boy, Sleep, I miss you. Anyway, and then finally there was a variety of Pingu animations, like, there was a good, what was it, 5, 6 of them or something? I'm not gonna go back and count, you guys can do that, it's not my job. But it was fun to see them, I like them. And I assume these are the finished products, so while we don't know exactly what each one goes to, I mean, we can make some decent guesses. The only one I would be super stumped on, aside from the ending one that I was talking about, would be the swimming, the adult one. Because again, I almost wonder if it was an injured swimming animation, because of how he was not moving that one arm. Like, it just seems a little strange that it wouldn't be, you know, assisting in some way. At least out of habit, even if it's not necessary or anything like that. So it could be an injured one, I don't know, I have no idea. But it looks pretty cool. I like them. They're neat. Pingu isn't necessarily my thing, as I've said 50 times. However, I appreciate it. I like its colors, and I do like its design. Like, as far as their Xenosaurus sort of things go, I think I like this one quite a bit. The Theory family isn't something I really care for, to be honest. However, ever since Pingu was shown, so far as theories go, I really like it. I like its design, it's very cute. I like the colors, but I mean, gee whiz, it's blue, who would have guessed? But just the general look of it, I don't quite know how to explain it, I just like how it looks. Like, how does one explain how one comes to enjoy something? Like, explaining why you'd find something cute is nearly impossible. But he's neat, I like him. I just don't really care for the water stuff, because water stuff has been boring every time I tried it, and I don't care to try it again. Granted, I haven't played again. Once they bulk up the underwater stuff, maybe I'll look into it. If I were to play something that was aquatic or semi-aquatic or whatever, I would probably choose Pingu, because Deinosuchus, the way they did it, I'm not a big fan, unfortunately. I like crocodiles in real life, but this one's just kinda he's just there, I guess. Pingu looks like it could be very interesting, and you'd actually hopefully be able to explore a little bit. But there's again the reliance on water, and when most of the map is land, it begs the question of why. Unless you've explored all of the rest of the map and you're like, okay, I'm ready for something different, and then you do underwater gameplay instead, which is fine. But, it takes me a really long time to get bored of a map, and when you're restricted to the water, it just, there's not a whole lot there, usually. At least right now. Once they bulk it up, then maybe, but, as of right now, there's nothing worth noting when it comes to water, so I just don't even bother. Anyhow, that'll be it. We're all done here. I'm tired. I'm gonna go get all the other stuff I need to do done, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a great day, night, whatever time this gets posted or whenever you see it. And goodbye!
Thank you.